Hey, it's Mr. Keys, and today we're going to take a look at drums and how to create drums in programs like GarageBand, Logic, Cubase, whatever DAW or digital audio workstation you choose to use. So we're going to look at the drum kit that's on your screen right now, and the drums are composed of a variety of different parts. There's cymbals, there's tom-toms, the bass drum, the snare drum, and even special cymbals like the hi-hat. And we're going to focus primarily on the bass drum and the snare drum because they form the foundation of any drum beat. So the first thing that we're going to look at is how they compare and what their roles are. The bass drum is a lower sounding sound, and I'm just going to play on the keyboard. It sounds like this. Whereas the snare drum is a more mid-frequency sound, and it sounds like this. I'm just going to put my headphones on so that I can hear as well. And both of these sounds are used as the foundation of the drum beat. When you hear something like, right? So those two instruments form that drum beat. And the bass drum comes on beat 1 for all the bars. And that's just a minimum. The bass drum can obviously come more often than that. And the snare drum, it occurs on beat 2 and beat 4 at a minimum. Now, obviously, with these rules, there's always exceptions to the rules, and you can definitely explore those options, but you need to know and understand the basic rules first before you decide to break the rules. Beat 1 is known as the downbeat. Beat 2 and 4 is known as the backbeat, and that goes for every single bar. Now, we can replace our snare drum sound, which is this one. We can replace it with other sounds. For instance, in hip hop and a lot of more modern music, they tend to use things like claps or finger snaps and things like that. And this goes for both of the bass drum and the snare drum. They can be replaced by different sounds, but they still need to fulfill their main role of bass being low sounding and snare being higher. And that's the relationship between them. Okay, so we're going to take a look at drum beat notation. Now, drum beat notation, what this means is, well, this refers to this down here. This is a grid, and this is the way that I'm going to notate the drum parts a lot of the times. And we're going to see how this contrasts to the regular way of notating music, which is your standard, writing notes and stuff like that. So we're going to take a look at an example beat, and then I'm going to compare it to how it would be written in drum beat notation. Now, I'm just going to write out the count for this. So you can see that I have numbers at the bottom, and those indicate what beat we're on currently. The subdivisions, so this is beat 1 for the snare, this is beat 1 for the drum, the bass drum, beat 2 for the snare, beat 2 for the bass drum, and so on. So we're subdividing in eighth notes. Remember, eighth notes breaks down your beat into 2 pieces. So let's take a look at the first note. The first note for the snare comes on beat 2. So up here, it would be nothing on beat 1 and a single note on beat 2. Now, when it comes to writing this single note, either it can be a quarter note, even though this doesn't span the entire beat, we can write this as a quarter note. Why? Because when we look at the snare drum sound, it's very, very quick. As soon as you play it, it's in and it stops right away. So this, it's not like you're holding it for a whole beat. Even if I hold the note, it doesn't necessarily keep playing, right? That's it. It's dead after that. So it has a very quick decay. All right. Let's go on to the next note. It comes on beat 4, so nothing on beat 3 and a single note on beat 4. Now, you can also write this like this, right? Just in case you want to be extra clear. So it comes on 2, nothing on the half. Okay, continue to bar 2. So we have nothing on 1, a note on 2, nothing on 3, and a note on 4. Let's go to the bass drum part. We have a beat or a note on 1, nothing on 2, a note on 3, nothing on 4. Now we're going to the second bar. We have a note on 1, nothing on 2. We have a beat on 3 and the half of 3. So 3 half. And then for 4, we have nothing on 4, but something on its half. So this is how this beat would be notated. And let me play the beat, and so that you can hear what it sounds like. So 1 half, 2 half, 3 half, 4 half. 1 half, 2 half, 3 half, 4 half. All right, pretty simple beat. And so that's a little bit about how the new notation style that I'm going to be showing you is going to work. Let's go on to our drum outline. Now this is really important because this is how all drum beats function for the most part. So for our drum outline, we have chord note on beat 1. And that's a chord note. Ignore that little thing. That's just actually, let me rewrite that completely. Okay, so we have a chord note on 1, nothing on 2, nothing on 3, and nothing on 4. Now I'm just going to leave 3 blank for a second. For our snare drum, we have nothing on 1, something on 2, nothing on 3, and something on 4. Now sometimes you're allowed to have, well, you can have something on 3. So this would be an extension of the simple drum outline. So we have bass on 1 and 3, snare on 2 and 4. The most minimal we can have this is bass on 1, snare on 2, and snare on 4. All right, let's take a look at how this looks in the 16th note setting. So now our grid is broken into 4 pieces. Every single beat is 4 pieces. We have bass, nothing on 2, bass on 3, and nothing on 4, nothing on 1, 2, 3, and 4. So here's what the simple version sounds like without 3. It sounds like this: 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, a half, a 2, a half, a 3, a half, a 4, a half, a, okay? With beat 3, it sounds like this: 1, 2, 3, 4. If you know, there's a song by Michael Jackson, I think, okay, I'm going to butcher this, I'll add it later, but the drums sound like this. All right, and that's just a really common pattern that lots of music uses. Well, that's it for today. Hope you learned a lot, and I'll see you next time.